Here's the pitch that sold 1 million millennial brain cells in 2 seconds. SpongeBob the Knight, Timmy Turner the Wizard, Jenny Wakeman unloading Robo Chaos, all trapped in a tabletop fantasy swirl because Timmy wished too hard. Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny sounds like a slam dunk. The question is whether the crossover magic makes a great game, or a great commercial for your childhood. Context first. This is GameMill with Petit Fabrique and Fair Play Labs, launched September 30th, 2025 on Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. It's an isometric kid-friendly beat-em-up with light ARPG dressing. 4 core attacks per character, quick linear stages, a central hub called The Tangle where you pick up side quests from familiar faces, and a loot treadmill that drops weapons, trinkets, and consumables. Reviewers agree on the vibe if not the verdict. It's a spiritual return to that PS2-era Nicktoons Unite energy, thick with references and voice talent, but mechanically basic and occasionally clumsy. Hardcore Gamer frames it as a simple brawler built for short, before school bursts. That reads as an endorsement for its audience. Stages clear in minutes, side paths hide treasure and challenge pillars, and the banter lands because the actors are the real deal. Then comes the eyebrow raise, an RNG loot system that doesn't belong in a game tuned this easy. If most kids can sail through without grinding, why dangle marginal stat bumps like it's Diablo Jr.? The Tangle side quests handed out by NPCs like Carl Weezer and Sokka do a better job creating reasons to replay levels anyway, so the loot feels like a vestigial organ from a different design dock. DualShockers leans into the fan service high and the structural low. The premise is cute and clean. Timmy's wish yanks the universes together. The Tangle fills up with NPCs and new quests roll in. The VO is described as relentlessly on point. The personality capture is affectionate, and the special attacks are tailored love letters. Jimmy Neutron drops gadget salvos. Jenny goes full Arsenal, it's candy. Then they come down. A big bland world map, music that fades into wallpaper, and a roster that somehow feels both broad and missing icons. The kicker is difficulty whiplash. Early levels are autopilot, and then the back half suddenly asks for real boss pattern reads and character swapping. On paper that's fine, teach kids to try new tools. In practice, gear drops bind to the character you're playing, so switching means underpowered newcomers unless you grind or shop. That's a systems mismatch that punishes experimentation in a game that should encourage it. The Sixth Axis drops the technical caveat and a visual critique. On Switch, they hit cutscene glitches and occasional pacing hiccups. More striking, they call out desaturated character models that make someone like Katara look oddly pale against otherwise vibrant environments. That's not just an art gripe, it impacts how alive the crossover feels minute to minute. Mechanically, they see the same arc. Linear levels with a few wrinkles, lots of loot, basic combat, you'll mostly mash through with special moves as the seasoning. Their bottom line is tidy, entertaining for younger players, thinner gruel for nostalgia-chasing adults expecting depth. Where do these takes intersect? 3 solid points of consensus. 1. The writing and VO work. When Nickelodeon calls the originals back to the booth, the characters, from sarcastic asides to earnest pep, feel like themselves, and that matters in a crossover built on energy, not elegance. 2. The core loop is deliberately simple. You're not here for cancellation windows or parry tech, you're here to bash, pop a special, scoop a chest, and chase a quest marker. 3. The nostalgia lens is everywhere, which is both the feature and the crutch. Every other swipe reminds you of a line, a meme, a scene. For many players that's the fun. For others, it's sugar without protein. Where do they clash? It's tone and tolerance. Hardcore Gamer is warm toward the kid-first design but side-eyes the loot RNG as out of place. DualShockers appreciates the heartfelt delivery but digs into the structural friction. Late bosses can be spongy, character drops lock you into a grind, and the fantasy reskin flattens visual variety after hours of play. The Sixth Axis is frankest on presentation. The desaturation and glitches break the Saturday morning spell, especially on Switch. Different critics, same silhouette. Charming crossover, shallow shoes. So what's the veteran game rate? This is a clean case of goals versus expectations. If you buy Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny as a nostalgia forward, low-friction brawler for kids. With the bonus of hearing the right voices say the right lines, it largely succeeds. The Tangled side quests are smart scaffolding for bite-sized replays, and the special attacks carry more personality than the basic strikes can. If you're an adult hoping for a mechanically satisfying mashup with elastic combat, meaningful buildcraft, and a hub that evolves beyond fetches and filters, you're going to feel the ceiling early. Let's poke the loot, because that's the structural splinter. RNG gear makes sense when the game asks for iterative mastery and loadout synergies. Here, most enemies crumble to basics and the special button fireworks, so stats are gravy. Worse, tying drops to the active character makes roster swapping attacks not a toy. Imagine a kid begging to try Jenny and getting punished with wet noodle DPS because the last 3 levels showered Sandy in purple hammers. The fix writes itself: team-wide loot banks, smarter auto-scaling, or quest-delivered starter kits when a hero joins. None of that needs to complicate the game, it just aligns systems with intent. Visuals and performance deserve the same pragmatic lens. A 2D, 3D art clash can be a quirky signature if composited with care. When effects look like sticker packs floating above the scene, and some models lose their vibrancy, the magic dims, especially for fans hypersensitive to how these characters should feel. Technical hitches are solvable, patches can sand down the worst spikes, but your first impression is your box art. Right now the art direction is a fun idea looking for a tighter glue. Here's where I land on value. For parents and nostalgic players shopping for a weekend game with kids, the package makes sense. The laughs are real, the stages are brisk, and the fan service is affectionate without being cynical. For solo adults looking for a modern brawler with staying power, temper expectations, or wait for a discount, there's a clear, charming floor and a low ceiling. If this kind of no BS deep dive is your jam, hitch a ride with Veteran Game and hit subscribe. We'll keep calling it straight, whether it's a bargain bin banger or a premium nostalgia tax. Toss a like if you've ever quoted the Crimson Chin unprompted, or if you've already maxed Jimmy's gadget spam into a room-deleting panic button. I'll leave you with this. Crossovers live or die by one question after the cameos fade. Do you want to keep playing? Dice of Destiny nails the curtain call and stumbles on the encore. Should Nick's next mashup double down on systems depth or keep the Saturday morning simplicity and just polish the heck out of it?